Stephen Root plays Monroe Fuchs on Barry, which has had a very impressive haul of Emmy nominations, including one for himself this season. This season on Barry, he has been bitten, explored the woods, and gotten arrested. So, Stephen Root, I'm Matt Noble here from Gold Derby, and I'll ask you, what's the craziest thing you've had to do on the show?
Well, you left out the craziest thing on the show, which is having your cheek bitten off by a 12-year-old.
Yeah.
In a crazy episode we did, episode 5. That was probably the strangest thing we did on the show, but I think that whole episode was basically a Twilight Zone episode, but one of my favorites.
Yeah. Can you walk us through that scene where you got bitten?
Yeah, we were shooting it late at night in a far part of the San Fernando Valley, and Bill was directing the episode. He decided, we wanted to do her to come out from the back of the car and bite right here. He was a little trepidatious about her doing it, so he said, well, maybe we can have her start with your cheek, and she'll come off quickly, and we'll just reverse the camera that way. So we tried that a couple of ways, and then he said, let's just try it where she just jumps up and bites you. So we did that. She jumped up, really latched hard on my cheek, and he said, okay, that works. And that's what we did. It was great. It looked fantastic.
Yeah. How many takes did you do with that?
Oh, we only did a couple. After we did those reverse takes, which he thought was okay, and we only did literally 1 or 2 takes of her jumping straight from the back and chomping onto my cheek. So it was great. She did a great job.
Mm. Yeah, and I guess the other thing with that episode is your hands are glued to a steering wheel, and you go out of the car for a little bit of it, but you're pretty contained to one space in that episode. You're sitting, yeah. What was that like, approaching that performance, being so locked in for a lot of it?
That's a good question, and it's the reason that Bill decided to do this episode out of order. It was episode 5 in an 8 episode season, but we actually shot that episode last because it was mostly Bill and I in the car, and Bill and the stunt guy doing stunts. So we shot that the very, very last part of the season, and it was so contained. Being in the car all day was difficult because I couldn't have a stunt driver drive all this stuff. So I was driving, 50, 60 miles an hour into a camera and having to stop on time, which was challenging for me. But we did it. We got it done. But being in the car all day was tough. It was tough. But I think it was more exhausting for Bill having to be in the episode and to direct it at the same time. So he was the one that was really worn out.
Mm. Where were you when Emmy nominations were announced this year, or at least how did you find out that you were nominated?
Yeah, that was crazy. I'd forgotten all about them. I was happily cooking some turkey sausage and eggs in the morning, and about to sit down to them when my phone rang, and an assistant said, "We have your agents on the phone." And I said, "At 8:30 in the morning? Why?" and so at precisely that moment, I got about 6 other calls, and including Bill, saying congratulations. So I was literally this way with phones on my head. So had no idea. Just woke up and it happened. And what a great thing. The best part of the morning was hearing though from Bill that all the major cast had been nominated together. So Sarah and me, Anthony, Henry, and himself. So fantastic.
Mm. Yeah, what was that like to think through how everyone had been nominated and that Barry had done so well? You got 17 nominations this season.
Yeah, it was kind of gobsmacked, you know. We love the show. We know that HBO loves the show, but we're really happy that the Academy members love it, and the general public does as well. It started as a very small thing, and I think it could have gone either way. But the quality of the acting and the writing and the directing on it is just so superb that it came out from the pack.
Mm. And when you get nominated for an Emmy, you submit an episode to judges that the people voting in that category can view online before they make that vote. And I believe you submitted the season final, Berkman over is greater than Block. What were you involved in that decision? And if so, why did you choose to submit that one?
Yeah, I was involved with it because it was either going to be that episode 5 we were speaking of earlier, which was strange, Twilight Zone episode, or the episode where you really find out that the Fuchs character is just really a bad man, is really only in it for the money, and immediately switches sides from Barry to the other side. And I had Bill wrote a really nice, well, no, I don't know if it was Bill, but I got a really nice monologue written for me at the end of that show saying why this is happening to that character and why I'm going over to the other side. And I thought that's probably the episode that I should put out there, because it tells everything about the character.
Yes. Well, something you've done that is clever is at least, and I wonder, did you coordinate it all with the other supporting actors to submit to all three of you?
No, not really. We all just submitted. Probably we talked to production, and each of them talked to production about which one they would prefer. But no, we didn't really talk about it together, because we love all of the work that we do on that show. We're very much a big, close-knit group that does a lot of group texting and a lot of love from everybody.
Mm. Yeah. And talking about your character's progression, which we saw a lot of in that final episode as he crossed over to the dark, or revealed maybe that he's been on the dark side. What was that like for you getting the scripts, seeing how this character's motives were revealed and things like that?
Oh, I'm sorry. Could you say again?
Oh, yeah. What was it like for you getting the scripts as you learnt more about this character? Or maybe you knew, maybe you were told where your character was going from the outset?
Not at all. Bill and the writers will tell you that. They wrote a lot of the episodes, at least had the outlines for all of the episodes, knowing where the show is going, but not particularly having finished all the scripts yet. And we certainly didn't get them until later in the show. We had the luxury of reading some of the maybe 3 or 4 scripts together at a table read, so we knew the direction that the character was going to go, but certainly not the end point. And seeing those scripts as they came out is where most of the cast would write each other and say, "Do you have any idea what that you're so bad that you're the worst person in the world?" And we loved seeing every script that came out. So well written, so great. That writer's room is just phenomenal.
Yeah. How are you most like Fuchs?
Stephen Root, most like Fuchs. I don't know. Stephen Root is such a sweetheart. I really love him. He's a lovely guy. Yeah. He's hopefully the exact opposite of this guy. I would say the part of him that's like Fuchs is not being as patient as I should sometimes. And Fuchs has no patience at all. It's like, do what I say. Why haven't you done what I said? Do what I say. And Stephen Root will sometimes go into that mode, but hopefully not too much.
What playing a character, especially by the end of this season, that the audience isn't probably their favorite character in terms of the choices he's making, what he's doing. What do you think what is the most thing that you tap into or that you find the most likable about this character, or is there just nothing?
No, I think I think you give yourself to every character you do, whether they're a quote villain or not. There's always part of you coming through that character. And as I'm essentially a nice person, I try to find the humanity in everything, whether it's a straight villain, which he is, or find the humanity in things that he does. So I think there's always part of you in that. And I think any role you do that's really well written allows you to show that.
What's your favorite thing about working on Barry?
Working with brilliant actors like Bill Hader and Henry Winkler and everybody in the show. Even the smallest parts on that show are done by tremendous actors. Darcy Carden, brilliant, beautiful, should have been nominated for The Good Place this year.
Yeah.
Is not a huge part of the show, but every smaller part of the show and all the acting students and everybody in the show is really integral to the show. So I would say everybody in it has other projects that they're doing. Kirby is doing another project, and Ryder Doyle wrote his own project for Netflix. So they're all doing something, but they're an integral part, even though it's a smaller part of this show.
And what was it like with working with the actors being hired? What was it like last year seeing Bill and Henry win the Emmy Award? Like, even though they're so great on the show, it was the first season, so there's you never know how things are going to be received, particularly in their first year. What was that like?
Yes, because we were made 4 rows away from four rows away from the stage when Bill was announced. And I think we almost stampeded the stage. We did go, but we wanted to stamp all over the heads of the 4 rows ahead of us. We were so excited, and more excited when Henry got his, because it had been 20 or 30 years since he should have gotten one. So it was the biggest thrill to be there and to be able to have a nice cocktail with him afterwards.
I'm sorry if I'm forgetting something from season 1, but was this your first scene with Henry this season?
It was the first time that Henry and I worked together. We had only really seen each other at table reads and different parts of the studio, but we'd never actually come in contact. And it was so rewarding and wonderful to work with him. He's just incredible and so easy to work with, and so crisp and clear in what he shows you. So that was a joy.
What's your what's the funniest thing that you've done on the show, or the scene that you've found the funniest that you've worked on?
We did a lot of stuff when Henry and I'm looking for the car in the woods in the second season and stumbling around the woods. We actually shot a lot more stuff that didn't get into the show, but I think I'm going to answer another question. I think the hardest part of being in the woods and being out there was rolling into the river at 6 a.m. I literally put my hand in the water just to test it before we were rolling around in it, and I took it out and I couldn't feel my hand. It was literally almost below freezing. So we did those scenes as quickly as we could at like 6 or 7 in, then still had to shoot all day till about 9 o'clock that night. So that was a long but great day.
Yeah. And do you have a favorite moment from shooting the series?
Oh gosh, I had a really fun time in the first season. I had such a great time sitting there tied up with Bill in a garage, yelling at him that he couldn't hear me being beaten up. It was something that just came on. He said, maybe we should do a take where you're just screaming at me for not realizing that you're getting beaten up by thugs. So that was kind of an improvised scene right on the moment. So that comes to mind really quick.
Yeah, there's not many jobs where you get to scream at your boss.
No, it's very, very fun. But he's the greatest boss in the world, and all the love and the hard work comes down from the top from Bill and Alec, and just a joy to work with him.
Yeah. As a viewer watching Barry, when you watch the show, what's your favorite thing? What do you think's special about the show?
It'll always. What's special about the show is the tone, and it's a really tough tone to maintain. If you look at this show on paper, a hitman who wants to be an actor, that shouldn't work. That shouldn't have even been picked up. But fortunately, Bill and Alec found the right tone of the show, which is just enough comedy, but when you do the violence for real, for reals. And they kept those. They were very, very good about keeping the logic of the show that way. When it's funny, but when the violence comes, and it comes a lot in this show, it's real violence. And I think that's the best thing they did, was keep a real tone in the show.
Yeah. And if you just indulge me for a second, my favorite show's The West Wing, and you came into that late in its run. Do you have a favorite memory or entering that cast and being on that show? What's that? Do you have a favorite moment from The West Wing?
Yes. I just had a lot of static going on.
I did too.
My favorite moment from The West Wing was when the Republican side, which I was on, was walking down the hallway and encountered the Democratic side. And it was a walk and talk. We all looked at each other, never said a word, and walked on by. But that was a great set to work on, always amazing scripts. And even though I was in last 2 seasons, maybe 2 seasons, it was still great writing and a great show. And I got to work with, Alan Alda, and that was worth the whole thing right there. Really tremendous actor.
Yeah, look, from working with Alan Alda to working with someone who does probably the best Alan Alda impression around.
I would agree with that. The man has an amazing ear. Yeah, I wish I had half as good as ear as he does. He can really do anybody. I hate him.
Yeah. Oh, it's fantastic. Well, Stephen, thanks so much for chatting with us about the Emmys and about Barry. All the best of luck for you and the whole team down the pipeline with the Emmy Awards. And for anyone watching this video, you can go to goldderby.com where you can make your own award predictions and compete with all the best editors, experts, and prognosticators online. Thanks so much, Stephen. This is great.
Doing Gold Derby. Go, Barry. You got it. Thanks.
Yeah. No worries.
Take care.
I was going to say Barry, which is nominated also for a Gold Derby Award.
Absolutely. This is very exciting. I haven't been nominated for anything ever, so it's fantastic. Yeah. Hey, no, just
well, Stephen, I did look it up. Stephen, actually, and it did say you were nominated for a Behind the Voice Actors Award for Best Vocal Ensemble in a TV Special Direct-to-DVD Title or Short for Tom and Jerry and the Wizard of Oz.
That's true, but that's audio, not video.
That is audio, not video. You are right. So thanks so much, Stephen. I think you also got a couple of Screen Actor Guild Ensemble nominees in there too for
this is the exciting one. With all these people.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. So anyway, all the best. Thanks, Stephen.
Appreciate it.
Okay, we're done.
We're done.
Yeah. Thanks for your patience.
Oh, thank you so
Okay.
much. Great questions. Really appreciate it.
No, it was lovely to talk, and you're doing some good work. Bye.
Thanks, bud.